Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Shrewsbury Zoning Board of Appeals public meeting for Monday, May 26, 2020. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Shrewsbury Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.shrewsburymass.gov/coronavirus. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by visiting www.shrewsburymediaconnection.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. To participate in the public comments portion of the meeting, dial 1-347-363-3552 and enter the PIN 390-835-271#. Please mute your device until I address your agenda item or open the meetings to public comment. The first order of business is sign bills, or approved bills. I have two, one for $420 to the Worcester Telegram and Gazette for the April 27th, 2020 legal notices, and one for $20.02 to WB Mason for office supplies. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to approve such bills.
And can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, both bills approved. Just as a reminder to the board, when we get to the public hearing portion, I will go down the line in seniority for comment. You don't need to keep it brief, but try to limit back and forth exchanges as much as possible. And when we vote, it will be, I'll call one at a time for people to vote. Our first public hearing is continued from the April 27th, 2020 meeting, 26 Oakland Ave, Rural B, Taylor LeMay, a variance to construct a second floor addition on an existing non-conforming single family dwelling. Is Taylor LeMay here? I thought I saw a Taylor LeMay here.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to mute.
Okay, and my understanding is that this was improperly advertised as a variance. That should be a special floor?
Yes.
Okay.
We requested from the beginning. This is Robert LeMay, Taylor's dad.
Okay.
And I've been working with Mr. Cahill on this pretty much from the start. That the original request for a special permit is what we needed. That we did not need a variance. So during the last meeting, we addressed that.
Okay. Bernie, can you just give us a little background on why the downgrade?
Sure. Yeah. So it was pretty much just a misunderstanding on the appellant's fault that they had interpreted as needing a variance. When it got to my desk, it was still as a variance application. So I informed the appellant to please send a correction letter to us to modify it to be a special permit and not a variance. What they're asking for does not just reach the level of variance, it's just not the correct appeal they were looking for. So I notified them of that. They realized their error and they sent a request letter that we did have at the last meeting, so that it would be a special permit and not a variance for this case.
Okay. So their plans were submitted. I've looked at them. I presume the members of the board have looked at them. If anyone has any questions, now's the time. Mr. George.
None at this time.
Ms. Cassette.
Could I just have the appellant just summarize what they're asking for? I know it's a special permit now.
The special permit was needed, whereas for my son's house, the location 26 Oakland Ave, we're adding to the building straight up. We are in no way changing the footprint or encroaching any of the side yards. The location itself already has a non-conforming condition, and that's what brought us to the board, just to identify what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions then. Thanks.
Okay, and then before I go to Mr. Mulcahy, I just want to reconfirm, I guess. Bernie, it's a straight up, no change in setbacks from what's existing.
That is correct. Yes, it's existing non-conforming due to a setback, two setbacks, I believe, and neither one is changing.
Okay, then I'm quite all right with this. Mr. Mulcahy, any questions?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay, Ms. Lynch, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, and is anyone in attendance, have they advised us they wish to be heard on this? Okay, I'll take that as a no. There being no further comments or questions, we will take it under advisement and you will be notified of our decision. Like we've done in the past meetings, I think we'll go right to voting right now. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second,
Okay, Mr. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Cassette,
Aye.
Mr. Mulcahy,
Aye.
Ms. Lynch,
aye.
and the chair also votes aye. Approved unanimously. Our next hearing is to hear the appeal of Linda Turnquist, 389 Prospect Street, Shrewsbury, Mass, for 2 variances and 1 special permit to the Town of Shrewsbury zoning bylaw under Section 7, Table 2, and Section 4-B to construct an addition and carport to an existing non-conforming single-family dwelling upon property located at 47 Plainfield Ave in the Residence B2 District. The subject premise is described on the Shrewsbury Assessor's Tax Plate 39, Plot 036000. Is Ms. Turnquist here?
I am here.
Okay, so you want to tell us what you're doing and what your hardship is? So I don't know if it's been explained to you, but for requesting a variance, which you need 2, you need to demonstrate a hardship, which would be something with the shape, size, topography of the land. So just give us a little background on what you're trying to do, please.
Okay. Well, my name again is Linda Turnquist, and I live on Prospect Street in Shrewsbury, and I am currently selling my house, and I own the house on 47 Plainfield Ave, and my grandparents owned it in 1921. We've had it in the family all these years, from my mother down to my mother and father to my sisters and I were born and brought up in this house. And we've owned it all that time, and I want to return there. My husband passed away last July, and we had hopes and expectations that we could go back there because we needed a first floor for my husband because he was sick. And, we wanted to go there, but things didn't work out. But now I'm alone and I can't afford the house on Prospect Street. And I want to go back there, make the changes we need to do. We tried to sell the house at one point, my sisters and I, and the upstairs bedrooms would never sell. And the staircases were, made in the early 1900s, and it just wouldn't sell. And now we have the house for 100 years, and before the zoning laws were in place and the pre-existing non-conforming, alterations, we feel like we could add on. And we're hoping that you would let me do that.
Okay. I just want to. What exactly are the changes that you're making to the property?
Well, the bedroom is staying the same on their first floor in the living room. The only thing we want to do is make a new kitchen and a bathroom
Okay. And
and a carport.
carport is going to be a one-car carport?
Yes,
Okay.
I will live there by myself.
Okay. Any questions from the board? I will start first with Mr. George.
Yeah, Ron, I was wondering if Bernie had a plan that he could put up on the screen for us to look at.
I believe Itis has the plans for this one. I was going to let him answer any questions. Itis, do you have the plans that you can put up?
Yeah, give me a second. I can do that for you. All right, can we see the plans?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the rear, front, and left elevations of the house that is proposed. This is the side that's in question currently, which is where the carport is located, with the foundation pillars being connected to the bottom, and then the roof is also connected to the main structure of the house.
So if the carport was attached structurally to the house, it would then be a special permit, not a variance? If it shared a foundation?
Yes, if it shared a foundation, it would be a special permit. You would not need to request for the variance.
Okay. And hang on one second. But other than that, it would be exactly the same thing, whether it was dimensionally, whether the only, so to speak, handicap with the way it's being proposed right now is that it's not structurally attached to the foundation.
That is correct.
Okay.
And we had Patty, the building inspector, her and I had reached out to the applicant, and we just wanted a confirmation of, is it going to be attached to the house or not? So what we were proposing to the board is to offer this up as a continuance to next month. So that way we could gather more information on the house. So that way we know that the foundation is either going to be pillars and it's going to be a carport, or if it's going to be a carport with foundation attached, or if it's going to be an attached garage. We wanted to find out which one of those three it would be. And from there, we would be able to determine, is this going to be a variance or is this going to become a special permit?
Okay. The applicant, Ms. Turnquist, do you understand that?
I know there's pillars and I know there's an attached to the house, but I'm not the architect. I mean, he should be answering these questions. I really don't know how to answer them. And that's why I didn't answer Patty. I don't know. And it should be the architect to answer these questions.
Okay, would it be the architect or the engineer, Itis?
I believe the architect drew all these up.
Yeah.
You know, I paid him a lot of money to do this. And I don't know.
Yes, I think these, if I may interject, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
these
Yeah.
would be directed towards the architect for the project.
Okay.
Right, so they would be the ones to show whether it's a foundation or not. I know in the letter, Ms. Camera, she indicated that it was done as a carport, actually, as I believe the words were compromise, where really, if it had been done as a car garage extension, it would be an easier bar to get over because it would be as a special permit and not a variance. So as a full-blown attached garage with a foundation, then it becomes a special permit. It's the detached nature of it which makes it a variance.
Does it matter how the attachment takes place?
My understanding from speaking with Itis and Patty is that yes, it does. It does matter that it's not a shared foundation.
Oh, so it can't be a shared foundation?
No. For a special permit, it would be a shared
would be.
foundation.
Okay.
Yes.
As it currently stands, it's a variance, which is, of course, a higher standard to achieve for an appellant.
Right. So I think what we should do before we go any further, any questions, I think we should do what's recommended is continue until the next meeting. And then someone, either Idis, Bernie, or Patty should reach out to the architect and find out exactly what we are going to be deciding on. I think would be the best order of business.
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Chairman?
go ahead.
Oh, so go ahead, Idis.
go ahead,
I
Idis.
just, of course, want to pipe in at some point, but
Wait,
Idis,
hold on
go
one
ahead.
sec. Okay. Idis,
Sure.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that basically based off of what's given here currently, I will go and, talk with the applicant more so via phone or whatnot this week, and then from her get in contact with the architect and be able to discuss from there exactly what we are needing to have her property be a special permit, which is less of a burden on her, and it's a lot easier for the next steps for her to appeal for the next June meeting as opposed to this one.
I would be grateful for that.
Okay, so go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, I'd like to say something.
I was on mute.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Me first?
Yeah, yes, you first.
Okay, so I would just like the appellant, Mrs. Turnquist, hello. I would just like to make sure you understand what we're saying. So you could decide to have an attached garage. And I did have some questions about the plan, but we can save that for the next meeting. But you could decide to, instead of have your carport, have an attached garage, and it may be easier for us to also approve. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't approve the carport going forward, but that has to be cleared up. And I will say, architects who render these drawings, it's usually a given that they need to come and explain as part of what you've already paid for. So I
Absolutely.
believe your architect would have no problem joining our next hearing, particularly when it's just over the phone, and can answer those questions. And I'm going to save my questions.
Yeah, there's no
for the
reason to
next
ask
hearing.
questions at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Who else said they wanted to speak? I heard someone say they wanted to speak. Anyone? Going once, going twice? Okay.
I
go-
do.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
What's your name, please?
Hello, Grace Fontaine.
Yeah, and where do you,
18
where do you live?
I walk 18 Naples Street.
Yeah,
I walk past the house, 47 Plainfield, off and on, and it's a lovely little house that looks like it needs expanding. Second floor for comfort or better use. And I don't know how close to the property line the existing driveway is, but usually where there's a close proximity to the property line, sometimes the carport is allowed, and then if it's a generous amount, I don't know how many feet you're allowing for a structure like a garage, but I wondered that if you need a garage, if you're going to have a garage, then you need more room on the side of the garage between the property line and the garage versus a carport. Is that right?
well, it would be a structure that would have to meet certain setbacks, including a side yard setback, if it were as a garage.
So it'd be a garage further
But we're
away
not-
from the house, set back
It's not a garage, so there's really nothing for us to, that's
to
not. the-
discuss?
Yeah.
That's not the issue right now.
No, it's
Well,
not.
I'd say go back to the architect and
That's
get the most
exactly
of your
what we're
money.
doing.
Get
Yeah.
the most of your money for the revision instead of making a inadequate fix,
Yeah. Thank you,
and
ma'am.
make it curb appeal, so
Yep.
it can be sellable. And it's a colonial house, and usually colonial houses can have a 20% revision of a different style, but no more than 20%.
Well, that's not our concern either, though, but thank you.
You're welcome.
So kind.
Can I get a motion to continue this to their next meeting, which is, I haven't looked at a calendar, so we're talking the 29th of June at 6:30 PM.
Motion to continue?
Can I get a second?
Second?
Mr. George, how do you vote? Mr. George? On a continuance?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Cassette,
Aye.
Mr. Mulcahy,
Aye.
Ms. Lynch.
Aye.
And the chair also votes aye. So this will continue. Ms. Turnquist, you'll be contacted by town employees, presumably in the next day or so. And from there, they will get in touch with your architects to go over this.
Great. Thank you.
Okay,
so much.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay, any new business? Itis?
No, there's no new business.
And there's no correspondence. So in the interest of brevity, I will take one more motion, please.
Move to adjourn?
Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor? I'll take it by voice acclamation on this one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Just as a show of support for what was done. A lot of these towns, they'll vote for it. They won't get the funding for 3 or 4 years later to actually put these types of things in. So I just want to make that clear ahead of time, and I can mention it during the meeting if you want me to, but I want to make that clear.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's not, I just don't want anyone to think, we're doing some sort of binding contract here, and it can certainly be looked at in the next few weeks, and then we can talk about it offline about how we want to approach a vote.
cuckoo.
No, that's not what it does. All right, this is a house finch. Just so you know. Well, actually, what's going off is a mourning dove.
Oh,
The finch is on the 12.
I'll do my bird impression.